Let me say a special good morning to our listeners and viewers this morning. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Thursday, the 2nd day of April 2026. Good morning also to those of you by our social media platforms, especially those of you by our Facebook page, YouTube channels, those of you by GBN's webpage, gbn.gd. Good morning and welcome. It's another exciting day in the Almighty's world. And let me say good morning to my guests. Well, I have the usual. You've been, I would say, you're getting a little bit unusual now. I ain't seen you in a long time. I'm not sure if you're heading out on me. But welcome back, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I must say good morning to the GBN family. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yes. And it's always a pleasure to have you. I think it's actually, he may not have been a stranger to GBN. I'm assuming so. But I think it's actually the first time I'm having him on my show at ASP.
Superintendent.
You know, I'm bad in terms of the whole title things with the police officers. I'm so bad, but Superintendent, of course, Baptiste, right?
Yes.
Good morning, sir, and welcome to the point.
Morning to you, sir, and thanks for having us here this morning. And we are very much grateful for another opportunity where we can speak and give necessary, important information to the general public. And in this setting this morning is to speak mainly to Carifta, relative to the traffic arrangements and the security arrangements that will be in place for the 53rd Carifta Games, which will be held at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium from the 4th to the 6th of April 2026. It's my pleasure to be here this morning.
Great. To get the ball rolling up this morning, you know, security for, of course, games like this, I should say, is very, very important. We have lots of folks visiting the island, and their safety is pivotal. You know, not only the visitors, but locals alike will be coming to the games. They want to know that when they're there, that whatever is taking place, they can enjoy whatever is taking place and not to be worried about anything else, you know, in the local way of talk that we were saying. How important it is for a standard of security, especially for games like this, in reference to the RGPF.
Okay, GT. So once again, good morning. My name is Sherwin, Noel, Sergeant of Police attached to the Community Relations Department. I must say that security is paramount for the RGPF. An event of this magnitude definitely would be, you know, top on our list to protect, you know, all the patrons of this event. And so the RGPF, we have already commenced our effort in terms of protecting the persons that are here, not only at the event, but persons coming to our island for the event. So we already start engaging persons. The immigration department, you know, sometimes is our first point of contact with persons coming for this event. And even, you know, I could relate to the traffic department as well. So we would engage persons, you know, create a warm atmosphere for the games, ensuring that everyone is safe and comfortable. So we're not doing it by ourselves.
Yes.
You know, we are engaging other stakeholders. So private security companies, you know, volunteer staff, and, you know, the LOC, as we say, the local organizing committee for the event. So it's a combination of the effort to ensure the safety and security of the persons attending this event or that are here for this event. So it's a big deal, and we are here to share more information to let the public know, to reassure the public that safety is our top concern.
Great. And I'm certainly happy the way in which you started this. Let's talk about the arrangements. When we say security arrangements for the event, what are we talking about?
Okay, so we're talking about things that are in place to ensure that persons are safe. And we are speaking about a number of things: the do's and don'ts at the events, the entry points, what is expected, what you can come to the event with, you know, things that are permitted and are not permitted, and parking arrangements. That too is very important in terms of security, because if we have an emergency and persons are parked badly or on the outside, it's a serious threat for our security. So I don't want to, when we say traffic arrangement and security arrangement, it entwines.
Yes.
So we don't want to really separate. That's why we're sitting so close, huh? We're not sitting so far apart. So it's a big deal for us. So if you want to get into some of the security arrangements, let us start.
I'm certainly here to hear them.
So firstly, I want to encourage persons coming to the event to first, if tickets are already sold out. Yeah, that.
So there'll be no option of purchasing tickets.
Well, I can't say that. The LOC would decide for someone come on that day, and yes. So first, ensure that the ticket you have. Yes, look at the ticket. See what is written on the ticket. If you purchase a ticket for the main stand, get to know where the main stand is. Ask. There might be, guides outside to direct you.
Yes.
So know the location of the area that you're going to sit at, first and foremost. So secondly, when you're planning to come to the event, we want to let you know that you should consider some of the regulations. So there would be no alcohol would be allowed at the event, or drugs.
Okay.
No breakable or glass breakable bottles and so on. The forks and stuff, the metal forks, and so that you use. The flammable material stuff like the spray, the bop and the other things that can, light up the blaze, that wouldn't be allowed as well. I haven't seen in the restrictions, but it speaks somewhere about the noise, the instruments that create noise.
So those horns.
So the horns and stuff
like that.
Yes, and I don't know if the LOC would allow it. Yeah, but if we want persons to remember that when the events are about to get started, they should refrain from using them.
It's a bit of a distraction for the artists.
A serious distraction. Again, persons who have firearms, licensed firearms, this is not an event for you to come to with your licensed firearm. You should leave that firearm in a safe place. And I'll give advice when I say safe place, in your vault at home where it's properly secured, or maybe at the police station somewhere in your district, or close where it might be safe.
Yeah.
Don't leave it in your car where persons can break into your vehicle and steal your firearm, and at the end of the day, it's another concern for RGPF and a risk for all our citizens. Right. Again, the knives, like offensive weapons. We're asking persons to check themselves. We say check yourself, and some people might say, well, it's something that, but check yourself. Yeah. Because at the same time, we have some people who are genuine. You would meet somebody and they would say, officer, I walked last night and I used this bag and I just forget the knife in the bag. Check yourself. Make sure that, you check what you have. Don't come to the event with offensive weapons or anything adapted to be used as an offensive weapon. So we're speaking here about some ladies like the hairstyle with the, I don't know what's the name of it, but this thing that they pierce into the hair, and so all that can be used
as a weapon,
in terms of inflicting a wound or creating some danger to someone else. Yeah. So on top of that, again, another issue that we want persons to, the large umbrellas and so on that persons carry that can cover more than the seat. We don't want persons coming to the event with a big umbrella and you're obscuring the view of everyone else in the area. In the corridors and so on, we want persons to refrain from standing or remaining in the corridors. Don't create any unnecessary obstruction and so on. Again, the vendors, for the vendors sometimes it can be challenging, but the LOC would organize the windows, as we say, where they can bring in stuff, and so use that opportunity, avoid unnecessary, use of the entry and exit points. So that too, again, can pose a challenge, because sometimes you have instructions to keep that area closed for a particular reason. Yeah. And somebody might come knocking, they want to go inside to bring in some goods or something. So use the windows available for the persons, in character games in the past. Take for instance the 2024. Yeah. When there was a break, persons were asked to leave the stadium, completely, and to re-enter for the second period. But however, this character, this 2026 character, there would be an entertainment segment during in the break period. Okay. So persons would be asked to go over to the entertainment segment area to allow, the persons to do what they have to do, the cleaning and so on.
Understandable. Sir.
Yes, everything that the police or somebody with this authority would ask you to do, it's absolutely something necessary. So sometimes people, yes, and it's not wrong for you to question, why am I asked to do that? But at the same time, you must understand that it is important for us to have the least amount of resistance from you in terms of executing our duty, so it can be done smoothly and in a time frame that is, that is enabling for us to have a successful character 2020.
I haven't heard you mention this part of it, but I know it's a thought that, of course, you will put into consideration. Individuals coming with their best behavior. I know you haven't thought about it, but you didn't mention it, but individuals coming with their best behavior is also important.
Yes, because GT, again, if someone, use offensive language towards any match official or other athlete or persons at the games, they can be expelled and they can be banned. Yeah. So it's something serious, as you said. You mentioned it, and just pass over my mind a bit. But it's not forgotten, and that is one of the most important things, because it creates an atmosphere that is conducive towards regional development. And when we see the games as a character, we must remember that we speak about the regional tourism. And character, what it came about the Caribbean Free Trade Association. And so a lot of people now would remember CARICOM, but they would forget before what it was. And so GT is very important when we speak about that. We want persons to keep coming to our country. Again, in terms of prohibited items, the large coolers that you see people coming in, 5, 6, the long coolers and stuff.
That's prohibited, right?
It's prohibited. Come with something that can remain in front of your seat. Because sitting next to you could be somebody from Jamaica, and there could be rivalry. There could be a tough situation where, a race has been run off and Grenada and Jamaica, is battling for the first position. And we don't want to create that conflict where someone is feeling uncomfortable because of you. So try to make everyone feel comfortable around you. Remember to consider the size of the cooler and what is contained in the cooler. So be prepared to be searched at the entry points. There might be a soft checkpoint, where maybe basic search might be done, but when you're getting into the inside, that definitely there will be a more detailed search.
So it's all done for your safety in general.
Again, we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, but it's all about your safety and your security. So I'm saying here that this event is a grand event. We want to make it the best event, the best character games that was ever held. If you look at, since Grenada started hosting character games in 2020, it's the 4th character games that Grenada will be hosting this year. Yes. So when you check how much member states we have under the CARICOM and you look at that, so we are held at a very high standard, and I must say that might be just attributed to the security. The level of security and the level of comfort that people enjoy when they come to Grenada for character. So we don't want to drop that standard, but we want to continue and to keep up that.
And continue to keep it growing as much as possible. All right. We due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't touch it.
Athletic fans, the time is drawing near for the most anticipated junior athletic game in the region, the 53rd Carifta Games, right here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, April 4th to April 6th, 2026. Get your tickets now and be part of the incredible excitement the athletes will bring, both on the track and in the field events. It's going to be a spectacular display of young talent and sheer determination. We've got options for everyone. Finish line tickets, day pass, just $120. Season pass at a fantastic just take $350. The main pavilion offers a day pass for $60 and a season pass for $170. Even our secondary stands are accessible at $40 for a day pass and $100 for the season. And for the ultimate budget-friendly experience, bleachers are only $25 for a day pass and $60 for the season. On April 4th, we're kicking things off with a bang. And to add to the visual, supporters are encouraged to wear green on April 5th, yellow on day 2, and on day 3, red. Let's paint the stadium with pride, and the excitement does not stop there. An added attraction is a vibrant cultural village, showcasing our rich cultural heritage with tons of excitement daily. You truly don't want to miss Carifta 2026. It's a celebration of sport, culture, and community. People we bought.
Everything's made in the air like a ransom. Head hot up, me no match up, me no come no. Man a real about job, never bought everything up over your head now. Over your head now. Over your head now. Cover your head. Over your head now. Over your head now. Over your head.
Get ready for the explosive energy of the 53rd Carifta Games. The Caribbean's brightest young stars are descending on Grenada for 3 days of pure speed, power, and passion. From the first block start to the final relay leg, witness the future of world athletics right here in the Kiranny James Athletic Stadium. When? April 4th to the 6th. It's time to feel the passion, celebrate the performances, grab your flag, and follow the action live on GBN Television.
GBN's broadcast of Carifta 2026 is made possible by Glen, Energizing Grenada, the National Lotteries Authority, Grenada Sports Council, Flow, My Finance Grenada, Guardian General Insurance OECS Limited, and Guardian Life OECS Limited.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV officers. Welcome back. We spoke a whole lot about the security aspects of the Carifta Games 2026, and of course, by all accounts, I know the RGPF are going to make sure that everyone, the safety of everyone, will be pivotal for them come the games. Now, we want to talk about traffic arrangement, which is also important. We know how the traffic congestion could be like, especially folks wanting to come to the games. So, of course, there's something we have Superintendent Baptiste talk to us in relation to that this morning. The traffic arrangements, what are we to expect from the RGF Traffic Department in terms of traffic arrangements for the games coming?
Thank you very much, and let me officially say a pleasant good morning to your viewing and listening audience. And as you said, the traffic arrangement is just as important as the security arrangement for the games at the stadium. The traffic arrangements will speak to the designated parking areas at the stadium, the prohibited parking areas where persons will not be able to park. It will also speak to the one-way roads. There will be some one-way roads. There will be some no-entry roads that the motoring public will not be able to access during the games, and also there will be an emergency route that will be in effect from the commencement of the games right up to the end of the game on the third day. So I will speak now as it relates to the designated parking areas where persons can park when they get to the stadium. And as it relates to the VVIP and VIPs, those persons will park at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. That's the concrete parking lot right in front of the stadium. The VVIPs and VIPs, those are the persons that will park there. And just want to mention that it is important for those persons to ensure that they have the necessary accreditation or pass prior to entry that they can present to the police officer or the traffic warden that will be in that area to make things very easy to facilitate them in getting the park. We have seen in the past where persons fail to show up with the necessary accreditation, and it creates confusion, and sometimes it looks like if the police is preventing you from getting access to where you're supposed to park. But because of your failure to have the necessary accreditation, which is the only thing that the police can use to confirm that you are one that is designated to park in the area, you fail to have it. So we just want to make that clarion call so persons can ensure that they don't forget the pass, and the organizers ensure that the pass get to those persons in time prior to getting to the stadium. For match officials and caterers, those persons will park to the immediate left upon entry of the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. So when you enter the stadium, to your immediate left, that dot area there will facilitate all the match officials and the caterers. There will be a number of buses transporting the athletes. I understand we have almost 800 athletes that will be on island participating in those games. So the parking area for those buses, the buses with the athletes, they will enter Gate 6. Gate 6 is that area where the cricket nets are at the cricket stadium.
Will they be allowed to park or drop and leave?
Yes, so I'm getting to that. Okay. Right, so they enter into Gate 6, they drop off the athletes at the designated area, and then they return and they will park to the immediate left upon entry of Gate 6, that where the trains normally park. In that grass area there, that's where all the buses transporting the athletes will park. As it relates to the general public park will be at Wesley College playing ground, or Queen's Park ground, as we may say.
We say ground 2.
Ground 2, right? So also general public, there will be limited parking area at Gate 6 also for the general public. So upon entry into Gate 6, they make an immediate right. And that will facilitate some parking of the general public. You heard Sergeant Noel make mention about the cultural village, where they will have some performances taking place during the break. So there will be a number of persons who have to perform and participate at the cultural village. Parking for those persons will be at the back of the cricket stadium, close to the River Road end. That's where we normally facilitate VIPs when there are events at the cricket stadium. So those persons going to perform will park there, also along with the media. So those persons. So that's it as it relates to the parking arrangements. And I will now go into the prohibited parking areas. And I must mention here the importance of the motoring public compliance as it relates to the adherence to those prohibited parking areas. And the reason for that, we want to do everything that will contribute and will limit congestion in the best possible way. We all know that we have a heavy increase in terms of the amount of vehicles on our island. So we know we'll expect a heavy influx of vehicles coming to and from the stadium. And those roads that will be prohibited roads are two-way roads, and the roads are very narrow. So if any vehicle is parked on any one of those roads, it will lead to obstruction because you will not have two-way traffic flowing simultaneously. And once you get obstruction, then what comes after obstruction based on the volume? Congestion. So it's important for persons not to park in those areas. So Melville Street from the fish market all the way to Keep Left, also known as Lacroix Roundabout, will be no parking. From Lacroix Roundabout all the way to Cherry Hill will be no parking. From said Lacroix Roundabout along River Road all the way to Postal Lumber Yard will also be no parking. And last but not least, as it relates to the prohibited areas, the entire ring road of the stadium.
Okay.
And the ring road commences from its intersection with Queen's Park all the way to accessing the Humber Bridge.
No parking.
And no parking. And it is very, very important for persons to adhere to those prohibited areas. We had a walkthrough yesterday because we observed a number of trucks, ASL trucks parked within that area on the ring road. We engaged some of them, and I must thank them for the understanding. And we give them up to Friday midday to have all those vehicles move, which they give us the assurance that they will do. So we just make our checks come midday tomorrow, please God, to ensure that those vehicles are moved. As it relates to our one-way roads, we have a number of roads that will be one-way. Cemetery Hill will be one-way in an upward direction towards Old Foot Public Road. Old Foot Public Road will also be one-way towards the direction of Lucas Street. Montrose Public Road will be one-way in an upward direction towards the Monge Public Road. So that's the one-way roads. And then we have some no-entry roads. That's where the public will not be able to access during the games. Cemetery Hill from its intersection with Church Street will be no entry. Old Foot from its intersection with Lucas Street will be no entry. Montrose at the top of the Montrose Hill will be no entry. So vehicles coming from Monge accessing Montrose Public Road will not be able to go beyond the top of the hill at Montrose to get to the ring road or to the stadium. Those areas will be no entry. And it is important for us to enforce those no entry because we have to put those systems in place to facilitate the emergency route.
Yes.
We're not too sure, we don't have any control, so to speak, as to if an emergency may occur. But we must have the measures in place to facilitate and to prevent any unnecessary obstruction along the emergency route. So the emergency route, from the stadium, you go up Cemetery Hill, down Church Street, access Granitang Road, to the General Hospital.
Okay.
So this will be the emergency route. And generally, that's the traffic arrangements for the Carifta. Those arrangements will go into effect from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. of each day from the 4th to the 6th of April 2026.
Right, so from 5 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. That's when the
each day, yes.
will be put in effect. All right.
And also the no parking on the ring road takes effect from midday Friday.
From midday Friday. Yes. No parking. All right, great. And happy for that. So we drew for a second break in the program. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Let's take that break, folks. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us to the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We will be right back.
Grenada, get ready. Athletic fans, the time is drawing near for the most anticipated junior athletic game in the region, the 53rd Carifta Game, right here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, April 4th to April 6th, 2026. Get your tickets now and be part of the incredible excitement the athletes will bring, both on the track and in the field event. It's going to be a spectacular display of young talent and sheer determination. We've got options for everyone. Finish line tickets, day pass, just $120. Season pass at a fantastic $350. The main pavilion offers a day pass for $60 and a season pass for $170. Even our secondary stands are accessible at $40 for a day pass and $100 for the season. And for the ultimate budget-friendly experience, bleachers are only $25 for a day pass and $60 for the season. On April 4th, we're kicking things off with a bang. And to add to the visual, supporters are encouraged to wear green on April 5th, yellow on day 2, and on day 3, red. Let's paint the stadium with pride, and the excitement does not stop there. An added attraction is a vibrant cultural village, showcasing our rich cultural heritage with tons of excitement daily. You truly don't want to miss Carifta 2026. It's a celebration of sport, culture, and community.
People we bad.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong, one nation, one network.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to officers within the studio this morning. We're talking Carifta 2026. Of course, in our previous segments, we spoke about the traffic arrangements. We spoke about the security arrangements. You know, an important aspect of this also is parents who will be bringing children to the event. And it's important that their safety is of course, is ahead too. So there are reasons why that, you know, the of course, the of course Community Relations Department will put some attention into this, because, you know, you don't want to be caught up in the whole excitement and then your sons and daughters are missing, especially for the parents or parents who are going to be allowing the youngsters to be there for various reasons by themselves. Hope that they have them properly supervised. So what do you like to say in terms of tips in terms of for safety of children attending the event?
To start with, you know, Carifta Games is really sometimes around Easter, and that's a family time.
Yeah.
So we know persons coming to the games, once they have children, would more than likely, if they can't find someone, you know, to give them proper attention at home, would come along with the children at the games. Once that is done, we expect that you would hold your children close to you, you would pay attention to them, and, you know, do everything in your power to ensure that they're safe. But should in case that child get lost, you would want them to be able to at least provide some information to the authorities that they can reconnect with you. So at least, you know, it might look a little bad for you to tag a child, but put something in their pocket at least. Something with your phone number, your name, maybe your address as well. It's just advice, you know. But first and foremost, try and keep them close to you. Always pay attention to them, because we know with the games there is excitement. There will be excitement, and at some stage, you know, you might cast an eye maybe more on the track than next to you.
And so, they may wander off for various reasons. You know,
at those games, we have officers that, you know, are normally tasked with the responsibility to deal with situations like these, lost children and so on. And more, there is never games of that magnitude that have passed, and we haven't had a report of a child being lost. Not really lost, but, you know, disconnected from the from the parent for a period of time. That's a better
way of saying it.
So please, you know, leave some information in the child pocket, because, you know, some children, they might be 4 or 5, and they you know, they don't really know their mother phone number or their father phone number and the address and so on. So please
know mommy and daddy,
do something. Yeah, who's your mother, mommy? Who's your father, daddy? Where you live home? You know, so please put something in writing, maybe in the pocket or so. Don't forget, keep them close and try as much as possible, you know, to have them within your sight or have someone who is accompanying you, assisting, looking out for them.
All right.
Again, we want to emphasize, GT, I just want to get into that one at the same time. We want to emphasize the issue of respect.
Yes.
Respect for oneself, respect for others as well. And you must treat people in the way that you're expected to be treated. So we say here that when you come to the games, be at your best behavior. Yeah, be at your very best behavior. Don't go about, you know, disrespecting people, pushing around, you know, yourself and on other people, violating other people's space and privacy and so. But we want you to maintain that level of respect and discipline. So because again, what's paramount for us in the RGPF is safety of every individual. Safety of you, and sometimes to ensure that you're safe, sometimes it means that you would have to be, you know, taken away from the games, maybe placed in custody for safekeeping.
You wouldn't want to lose the excitement of the game.
Or placed out of the games to ensure that other persons are safe. And so this is the last thing on our agenda. But at the same time, we want you to remember that, yes, law enforcement is something that we approach with the slightest level. We use the use of force continuum. So we don't start hard and end up soft, but we go soft and we end up hard. Yeah. So we want persons to understand that our intention is not really to arrest or to put out somebody from the games, but it could end up to that if you're not complying with other instructions.
So what's the tolerance level for that in terms of folks in terms of their lack of respect and just of that low level of behavior? Would there be a level of tolerance that you would not be accepting at all for that?
Well, you know, GT, we, as I said before, our intention is not to really arrest anyone, but you know, persistence is something that, you know, as I say, when you become comfortable with something or somebody, then your complacency steps in.
Yes.
So if the police officer or the volunteer or whoever is giving you an instruction and you're not going to comply with it, then they cannot keep giving you the same nice treatment, you know, because it would only escalate. Then you might want to find out who is really in charge, if it's the person that is creating the violation, or if it's the volunteer or the security or police officer. So again, I'm not going to say straight out that we wouldn't, but we're not going to be expecting persons to be violating other persons or persons to be disrespectful or so. So this is something that I personally have a low tolerance level for. I'm not saying that I don't tolerate, but I have a very low tolerance level for. And as law enforcement, sometimes you have to consider other persons and so. And so we're being reasonable and practical here. And we're not going to say that, you know, the slightest level of that we're going to be putting on persons.
You know, violence also, and in these games, sometimes tends to have the tendency to show its face up. You know, with the rivalry with other countries and so, we may not want that to happen at all. But how would you like to educate, you know, listeners and viewers this morning in relation to that? You understand? Because, you know, folks it may not be what you come for, but sometimes for various reasons, these particular attitudes get to show their face up. You know, what would you like to tell our listeners and viewers in relation to that?
You know, we should be tolerant. We should be very patient, and at the same time, what I'm saying is that we just had the intercall games, GT, and we haven't had any major incidents. And I want persons to reflect on that. The character is a more mature games than the intercall, and so we're not expecting our adults to go out there and act, you know, at a lower level than our children did. You know, our children, we must commend.
But it can happen, eh?
Yes, it can. But we're not expecting. And so I'm saying that, you know, I'm urging the persons that, you know, go into the games to exercise patience, to be calm, collective. And as adults, let's find, you know, amicable ways of resolving problems and issues. conflict resolution is something that not much persons these days get involved in conflict. The few conflict that we have arising and and issues that we have resulting in crime is just one or two in a community out of several incidents where there might be a misunderstanding. So we're not going to say we are expecting it. Based on the grounds, we are not expecting any conflict. We expect it to be peaceful.
Yes.
It's something that we say is a macho event, a macho crowd normally, with very, so as we say, family event. People bring along their children and we expect them to be setting examples for the younger ones and for other events to come, because as we said, we hosted this event 4 times before, and that is just between 2020 and now. So I see no reason why this year should be a year where we differ from the trend that we have said before.
I agree with you with that. Mm-hmm. I want to come back to, of course, the Superintendent and Baptiste, that because also around this time when we may sprung out all the information in terms of traffic arrangements and stuff like that, and there's always someone or individual who feel, well, I don't have to go by that. What's the tolerance level for the traffic department in terms of that? Individuals who wants to still feel they can break the traffic rules, and we know folks who still want to drive without license, and all of these things around this time. But a lot of attention be put into that also.
Thank you very much for that question. It's a very good question. So our focus will not only be on Carifta.
Yeah.
So we have officers that will be working outside of Carifta. We have a operational plan that will be in effect from Friday right up to Monday, where we will have mobile patrols, traffic checks throughout the entire day of each of those days. And those mobile patrols will be mainly to deal with enforcement. Some of the things you talk about, looking for the persons that driving without license, driving unlicensed vehicles, driving uninsured vehicles, and so forth. So it will not change our operational posture outside of what is happening at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Yeah. And as we on that point, I just want to re-emphasize that we develop a culture in Grenada, sad to say, motorists, that for us to obey a traffic sign, it has to be accompanied by a member of the police force. Without an officer there, it's like if persons have no regard.
It doesn't exist.
Yes. So strict enforcement will be applied to persons who fail to obey those signs.
Okay.
The last thing we'll want is someone failing to comply with a traffic sign that results in persons reaching to the games late, athletes reaching to the games late, and so forth. So there will be, I can say that now there will be a zero tolerance for persons breaking those no entry, no parking signs.
Okay, great. I just wanted to get that cleared up because, sometimes folks may feel, well, the police will be putting their focus a whole lot in the stadium area. And, I feel, well, maybe I can do what I want, maybe in the Grand Anse area, or do I want in the St. Andrew area. But that's a no-no if you're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, and I must say, those operations will be island-wide, not just focus on St. George's, throughout the island.
Oh, great. We're due for a break, which shouldn't be our final break in the segment for this morning. When we come back, we get into the final segment of the program. We also, of course, if there are listeners and viewers out there who do have a question or two you may want to ask in relation to our conversation this morning, feel free to do so also as we get to the final segment of today's program. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
Served Grenada for decades, we are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to...
Get ready for the explosive energy of the 53rd Carifta Games. The Caribbean's brightest young stars are descending on Grenada for 3 days of pure speed, power, and passion. From the first block start to the final relay leg, witness the future of world athletics right here in the Glen James Athletic Stadium. When? April 4th to the 6th. It's time to feel the passion, celebrate the performances, grab your flag, and follow the action live on GBN Television.
GBN's broadcast of Carifta 2026 is made possible by Glen, Energizing Grenada, the National Lotteries Authority, Grenada Sports Council, Flow, My Finance Grenada, Guardian General Insurance OECS Limited, and Guardian Life OECS Limited.
Grenada, the fire's about to be lit. Get ready for the ultimate grilling showdown. Maggie, King of the Grill 2026 is coming your way. Saturday, May the 30th at the Monroe Plain Field. The search is on for the island's top grill masters. Do you have what it takes? Bring your flavor and compete in the chicken category, the seafood category, and the bold, most creative grill category, where daring ideas take the crown. And this year, the heat isn't just for adults. Introducing the Junior Grillers category. Schools and youth groups. If you are under 18, this is your time to shine. So fire up those coals, sharpen those grilling skills, and get ready to battle for grilling glory. Registration is now open. Call or WhatsApp 405-8458 to secure your spot. Maggie, King of the Grill 2026. Saturday, May the 30th, Monroe Plain Field. Come for food, stay for the vibes, and witness who will be crowned King of the Grill. Brought to you by Maggie, enhancing the natural flavor of your food.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Welcome back, officers. And on today's edition, we're talking Carifta Games. We're talking the security aspect of things. We're talking the traffic arrangements. We talked about the general safety of patrons at the games. We spoke also about children and the safety and the things that parents should do. We talk about respect to authority. Make sure when you come to the games that you show that level of respect to the authority also. As I mentioned, we're going to open the lines to, of course, our listeners and viewers out there. If you do have a question or two that you may like to ask the officers in studio this morning, I beg of you to be brief so that we could accommodate as many callers as possible. We do have our first caller. Let's entertain our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, GT, and good morning to the esteemed officers. I'm really, very impressed with the effort the Royal Grenada Police Force is making to ensure their safety here. And I'm glad that one of the officers mentioned something which I think in future we need to explore that more in depth. The fact that we are the culture of needing to be rude rather than to self-manage ourselves. I was really impressed because I normally say that and people don't listen to that we are not a self-managed people. We have to be managed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. And I think the caller is making a really relevant point there in reference to that. There's another bit of information we want to throw this morning. Because, from time to time, we see those the athletes, or may not be for the Carifta Games, it could be for cricket or anything of that sort. I mean, so from time they are being transported. And sometimes we see folks want to contend with the or challenge the whoever whoever the how can I put this, or whoever is the instructing or carrying that passenger bus or just say together. Why would you like to speak in reference to that?
Yeah, so I am I want to make mention of what is expected of the motoring public upon the sound of our police siren. Because what will be happening with reference to those games, you will have a lot of escorts being done by our police motorcycle escorts with reference to the conveying of the athletes from all the way to the south, as far as Maurice Bishop Highway onto Grandin's Public Road to the stadium. And this will happen throughout every day of the games. So, and the motorcycle escorts will definitely have to sound their siren at certain point in time based on the nature or the condition of and the volume of traffic on our road. So from the time any motorist hear the sound of a police siren that is coming from behind you, you need to draw as close as possible to the left side of the road and stop, allowing free passage for the escort along with the convoy that is escorting to have clear and free passage without any unnecessary obstruction. And those of you who might want to check the laws related to that, it falls under Regulation 2619 of SRO 39 of the 1999 laws of Grenada.
Okay, you know, some folks sometimes go along with that as it's maybe they see it as not being an emergency and think, well, maybe I don't have to stop because it's just someone who's been, escorted. But it's something that you should do. There's a law for that.
Yes. Once you hear the sound of the siren, you need to adhere to what I just mentioned.
Okay, great. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning, sir.
And to your guest, I'll take this opportunity briefly to deviate a bit. Well, it's related to the police and traffic. And by the way, should I say, I wish that all the games and all that goes well and the police have, get participation of the public to guarantee such. Something happened to me yesterday morning or the day before morning. I went to St. George's along Church Street, turned on to quote unquote the long step which lies diagonal to the Anglican Church to go down to Dr. Marishaw's office, only to collide with a vehicle parked in front of the guardrail where I'm supposed to touch at least as an old man to help me to get down comfortably to the bottom of the cobblestone street. The vehicle parked in front of the guardrail. I thought I'd raise this with the police so that I can guarantee in the future that that place be cleared and left accessible to all the people and people with visual impairment like me that have the right to circulate within this here country. My suggestion is that you clear it and you paint it in black and yellow pavement markings to guarantee that people do not violate the rights of the people with visual impairment in this country. I trust that my complaint is understood and will be dealt with. Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford. Have a nice day, will you, sir?
You too, sir. Have a good one. All right.
Thank you very much for your complaint. It is duly noted, and we will look to see how best we can facilitate your request.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller live. Caller via the direct line. You're live. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. Go right ahead, please.
I was not aware of the gaming in the stadium.
Caller, you do have a device in the background that seemingly be a little too loud. Could you have it lowered, please, or turned off completely? Caller, are you there?
Yes. Could you mention to me again what time it will be?
Caller, I mentioned that you may have to have the device turned off in the background because it's too loud and it's causing a bit of an echo. We're not hearing what you're saying properly.
Yes. I'm inquiring about the time the activity is taking place. I did not aware of the time.
You have a time set for the game starting? What time the game starts?
Yes.
So we don't really have the authority to speak to the time. It's really the organizing committee. But from the information we have, there is 2 sessions per day. So on day 1, session starts at 9 and ends around 12.
Yeah.
And that's for day 1. Then the opening ceremony commences at 2:30. And then the games continue all the way to around 8, beyond 8 o'clock. Okay. And for the other 2 days, it starts at 9 to 12 and then with a break and continue from 4 until the game ends, whether it be 8 or 9 in the night.
All right. I did have that information written somewhere, but I don't have it beforehand. I don't have it off my memory exactly, but maybe as the morning go along, I will repeat it. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, GT, and morning to those officers.
Good morning to you, sir.
GT, those officers, you all did a good job last time. That's why they're calling back to have that in Grenada again, because we all did a good job. And we have to keep it up, because crime free and everything, we don't have much crime, everything, that's why they're calling for Grenada. But one thing to the police, they have to start doing something about some of the guys that parking on wrong corners. So much guy parking anywhere, wrong corners, anywhere they don't choose to park, double parking, doing all kind of wrong things. And I hope that something could start taking place, so the police and them start doing something about those things. I see where they have signs, police put up signs and say no parking, guys remove it and parking there, especially in Grenada Valley and some other places, Anyway, thank you very much, sir, for listening.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. You want to respond to the caller?
Yes, caller, I really do agree with your statement, and let me use this opportunity as well, GT, to commend the general public for the continued effort, the support that they have given us. The way they conduct themselves is only because of the silly mistakes of a few that we have minor incidents most of the times. But generally, I must commend the general public. If they choose to give trouble, then our job would be much more difficult than it is. And so, commendation to the general public.
All right. I think we have more or less exhausted our time this morning on the program just a wee bit. So I'll give you both the opportunity. Anything in closing before we take a wrap this morning?
So, in closing, let me take the opportunity once again to thank GBN for giving us that opportunity to outline our traffic arrangement and security plan for the 53rd Carifta Games. It's just a clear call to the motoring public. We look forward to your continuous cooperation and compliance with reference to the traffic arrangements that will be in place. Remember, the arrangements are done that it will benefit everyone. It's not limited or restricted to a particular sector or type of people. It's for everyone's benefit. At the end of the day, we want to ensure we have a smooth operation at the games as what we did in the past, or even better, that we can continue to see Grenada getting the opportunity to host more games like these in the future, where the entire country will benefit.
All right.
Again, it would be remiss of me not to, again, emphasize on the importance of your compliance with the instructions from law enforcement and other agencies assisting with the security of the games. So I want to urge everyone to be at the best behavior, come out in your numbers and support whichever country that you want to. It's a regional event, and it's a good event for Grenada to promote Grenada. Our carnival is coming up. We're launching carnival soon, so it would be a good way to market Grenada and to increase on the amount of visitors we have to our island. Again, on behalf of the Commissioner GT, we want to say thanks for continuing the partnership with the RGPF and GBN, and we look forward for many more programs like this in the future.
And you're certainly welcome a whole lot. So folks, you could join us again for another edition. Don't forget King of the Grill, Saturday, May the 30th. I was telling, of course, so gentlemen here, they could put together a team and come on King of the Grill. They don't want to commit to it, but All right, so I've just got to put you on the spot to see if you put that team together and come on King of the Grill. Anyway, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Join me again for another edition. We'll not have an edition for you tomorrow. Next time you see me, we'll be back on Tuesday of next week. So until then, have a good, of course, day, what's left of it, and a great Easter to come, and a great weekend, and certainly go on out to the Carifta Games and support Team Grenada. Until then, folks, and give all the other teams your support also. Not only Grenada, but give all the teams your support. But of course, Grenada will be rooting for our Grenada team. Until then, have a good one, folks. That's when we say goodbye.